The AMODEA Physics has adjusted a lot of units of the physics. Its rule is to put attention on the absolute assumptions of the physics. First of all, the time cycle of every unit. In this way, since the reality of the space-time has 4 dimensions contained in the time cycle, 10 raised to 4 equal to 10 thousands is certainly the reality of every dynamic cycle. Afterwards, the AMODEA Physics considers the third dynamic principles, called of action and reaction. Both the action and the reaction are forces that in their full cycle are 10 in their decimal units. Therefore, the 10 squared is all the energy of the force acting in the 2 inverse directions, 10 and minus 10, electric and magnetic, or of the matter and of the antimatter. We have a lot of assumption, a new way to have the physical units, and you may observe what we are introducing. This is the overview of how all the major constants of physics become when they are calculated through the formula of their exact derivation. All amounts in decimal values in the mathematical relationship in themselves do not exist, but they occur when the quantities calculated in the 10 cycle have in this cycle the decimal quantity 1, which acts as a servant of the 9 other dynamic data. The quantities counted in the 10 cycle, when are put in division one of the other, bring into relative ratios between them that are the remaining quantities not divisible. Then the remaining quantities existing not divided between the divided quantities are the servants, that is, the units having their own functions in the transferring of the divided data, like real bearers of the data. Only, for example, the absolute 100 total quantity made by the interaction between action and reaction, valued 10 every one, when are divided in the 3 component lines of the orthogonal space, arrive to 33 with 1 remaining and not divisible. It represents the unit of the time, which is the real bearer of the 33 data. The mathematics allows to divide also this remaining unit and to have always 3/10 as an infinite period. But if we think that these decimals are part of the 100 energies divided by 3, we are mistaken, because of the division of the 1 remained is possible only by transforming 1 into 10, and changing the unitary dimension, that now are not only units, but units plus decimals, plus hundreds, plus thousands, and so going on. One unitary division must contain only one dimension, and not a lot, summed one to the other. In fact, if we consider that 1 plus 10 gets 11, and that is all the energy of the advancement of 1, this exact 11 on the three lines x, y, and z is 11 plus 11 plus 11 equal 33, and not 33 plus 3/10 as an infinite period, which altogether results by 100 divided by 3. Well, now we can see all the constant as they become when are cut away all the decimals, in the way to do not divide the remaining unit in the ratios. And then we can consider one by one to do the correct examination of the real formula of derivation to have the single constants. Formulas of derivation of the principal physics constant. The Amodeo's absolute dynamic. In the C, in which every unit is made by 10 tenths, the greatest action is 10, so that 10 multiplied by 10 equal 100 is the greatest interaction between every action and its reaction. It is the absolute equal total quantity to which every physics unit is referred. The Amodeo's boson of Higgs. Its derivation is the formula 1 plus 3 multiplied 1 plus 10, and equal to 44. Since 4 and 11 are absolute quantity, 44 too is absolute, and so it exists everywhere. The universal gravitation. Its derivation formula is 10 multiplied by 10 minus 44 equal to 66. The subtraction of the boson Higgs to the absolute 100 of Amodeo quantifies the real units of the movement of the real masses of the bosons in the unitary space. The exact size in the C units is ruled by the dimension 3 multiplied 1 plus 3, which gets the combination between the 3 dimensions of the space and the 1 plus 3 of the time space, as the correct indexes 12 of the 10 cycle. The unit of 10 raised to 12 is its 10 raised to minus 12. This 10 raised to minus 12 unitary quantity must refer to the 1 Newton unit of force, which is in action in the line of the real positive flow of mass. It must refer also to the 1 meter squared, as the unitary section in advancement making the volume, and it, finally, must refer to the unitary mass contained in this 1 meter squared of section, which contains 1 kilogram for each meter, and so 1 kilogram squared, but as a time of the unit, therefore multiplied by 1 kilogram raised to minus 2. The constant g of gravitation, its derivation formula is 10 multiplied by 10 minus 2 equal to 98. The subtraction of a 2 dimension considers the 44, the Amodeo's boson of X, divided by 22, its full real and only positive motion. In this way, the area 44 is reduced to its unit, to its 2 dimensions, one of each side of the section. So the constant g reveals 98 real units in motion, with 2 in the transverse section. To refer it to the c units means to consider that the unit of the mass in motion is the 1/10 of the 1 meter, and that these 10 raised to minus 1 meters advances in every second. Therefore, 98 multiplied 10 raised to minus 1 meters every second. The electronic charge. Its derivation formula is 10 raised to 4 divided by 5 raised to 4 and equal to 16. 10 raised to 4 is the absolute area of the absolute 100 of Amodeo. It is the time-space 1 plus 3 acting as a power on the 10 cycle, only advancing, made by the squared radix of 100. But this real motion of 10 units, being a real cycle, has 10 middle that is going on up, while 10 middle is going back down in the same unitary clock verse. We can perceive the plus 5 advancing by the minus 5 others, and the reality, power 1 plus 4, gets 5 raised to 4 equal to 625, and not the 624 considered by Coulomb. Without every possibility to be wrong, 10,000 divided 625 is equal to 16, and represent how many charge assumes each of the 625 units of 5 raised to 4, where the total is division is 10 raised to 4. Referring it to the Coulomb, 16 multiplied 10 raised to minus 20 Coulomb is the exact unit, making violence to the Coulomb, in way to make it 5 raised to 4, the reality of the only electric electron's motion. The atomic unitary mass, U. Its derivation formula is the same of the electronic charge, 10 raised to 4 divided by 5 raised to 4, and equal to 16. In this case, is the mass of a matter to be plus 5, on the base of its inverse, the antimatter, that simultaneously is minus 5. The unitary atomic mass, U, therefore, is the charge 16 that 1 unit of atomic matter must assume, where the total is 10 raised to 4 atomic units. Referring the electrons to U, the electron mass is its inversion, made by 54 multiplied 10 raised to 4 U, where U is what transforms 5 raised to 4 in 54, dividing the correct T equal 625 by this quantity, 11.5 plus 3 raised to 3 divided by 2. We can observe that 54 multiplied 16 is equal to 864 and is the mass of the second in 1 day of turn of the Earth when are counted in the 100 absolute of Amodeo. Therefore, the charge 16 is the time of the second 54 divided by 100, that is the minimum time of the astronomical year, made by 365.25 days, 540 seconds, 540 thirds, and 540 fourths equal to 54 in hundreds of a second. Therefore, the atomic mass unit is made by 10 raised to 4 electron mass, and we see that the charge 16 of the atomic unit is the section 4 multiplied by 4, existing on the base 10, while the flowing line is exactly of 10 raised to 4 electron masses equal to 1 U. There is a reason that explains why the volume 10 raised to 4 multiplied 10 raised to 4 multiplied 4, always measured in electron masses, is reduced to the only exponent in the section. We must consider that the real flow and the real section are perpendicular, are in opposition. In fact, also the real mass plus 10 raised to 4 is in real motion by the reaction of minus 10 raised to 4 of the positrons. So, we perceive always according to the third dynamic principle, and the opposition assumed by 10 raised to 16, the section, is the logarithm of 10 raised to 16, that is equal to 16. This 16 must be referred to 1 kilogram sized exactly 10 raised to minus 28. In fact, the exponent 30 in atomic units as 10 raised to 30 angstrom is 1 meters cubed, while the mass unit of 1 kilogram refers to the 10 raised to minus 2 part. So, 10 raised to 30 divided 10 squared is 10 raised to 28, whose inverse unit is 10 raised to minus 28 kilograms. The constant of Faraday. Its derivation formula is 10 multiplied 10 minus 16 divided by 4 equal to 100 minus 4. These quantities are always indexes of the 10 base, so that the subtraction of the 4 dimensions of the reality of time-space is the division of the absolute 10 raised to 10 raised to 10 equal to 10 raised to 100 by 10 raised to 4. And we have the quantity of the electric charge, since 4 is the charge 16 in its 1/4 of the real presence, where time divided x, y, z time is 1/4, being t equal x equal y equal z equal 1. To refer 96 to the C units means to multiply it by the correct 10 raised to 3 Coulomb mole raised to -1. In fact, 96 is referred to the unit of the 10 cycle of Coulomb, each mole. The mole has the dimension 10 raised to 23, the electric charge 10 raised to -20 Coulomb, so that 10 raised to 23 multiplied 10 raised to -20 is 10 raised to 3 Coulomb every mole of 6 multiplied 10 raised to 23 every 1. The 6 units of the mole advances of the full cycle 10, and through 10 plus 6 we have correctly 16. Certainly we have not it if we add the Avogadro wrong number of 6.022 and going on. The constant of Avogadro Amodeo recalled of Amodeo, of me. Its derivation formula is 10 minus 4. It in absolute comes from 10 raised to 10 divided 10 raised to 4 and equal to 10 raised to 6. That, considering only the indexes, it is 10 minus 4. The cycle less the 4 dimensions of the unitary time of 4/4. Avogadro derived this number dividing 100 gram by the atomic unit of the mass, valued wrongly more than the poor and certainly 16 derived by 10 raised to 4 divided 5 raised to 4. While the Avogadro numbers does not represent the space-time, 6 are all the distinct direction of the space with 3 component line x, y and z. The mole of Avogadro in the Amodeo's number. Its derivation formula is 10 minus 4 multiplied 10 raised to 6 multiplied 4 and divided by 10 equal 6.10 raised to 23 every mole. We can see that not only the number now is 6, but that the same 6 exists in the exponent and multiplies the 4 dimensions by which it exists as 10 minus 4. We have the mole of matter as one of 2 inverses, matter and antimatter. This 2 quantity, in its full 10 cycle in power, is 2 raised to 10 equal to 1024, and reveals that 24 are the virtual hours of the full turn of the total 10 raised to 3 unitary masses of every 10 cycle. Therefore, 10 raised to 24 represents the total, which must be valued in the tenths unit of the cycle. So 10 raised to 24 divided by 10 become 10 raised to 23 in every direction of the space-time. Since they are 6, the mole is 6 multiplied 10 raised to 23 every one. The Dirac constant Akbar. Its derivation formula is 1 plus 10 equal 11. The Amodea Physics consider one energy in action for its full 10 cycle, and 11 is the total made by 10 raised to 10 multiplied by 10, and equal to 10 raised to 11 considered only in the sum 10 plus 1 of the indexes. When the energy of 1 joule is acted in 1 second, 11 joule second is this unit. If we decide to arrive to the atomic limit, matters 10 raised to minus 5 is the unit of the electric movement. We must have it in the 6th direction of the space and in the 1 direction of the only advancing plus 1 time. So the 5 units must work in 7 direction, and 5 multiplied by 7 is 35, and are the dimensions, index of the 10 base. 10 raised to 35 is the power, whose unit is 10 raised to minus 35. Therefore, 11.10 raised to minus 35 joule second is the exact quantum of Dirac. The constant of Planck. Its derivation formula is 6 multiplied 10 plus 1 and equal to 66. The Amodea Physics, proceeding inversely, arrive to the Planck constant through multiplying the Akbar, or the constant of Dirac, by the direction as of the amassing of the energy S of the centrifugal expansion of the 6 amassed. Therefore, 66 multiplied by 10 raised to minus 35 joule second. The constant of the fine grain. Its derivation formula is 10 minus 3 equals 7. It derives by 10 raised to 10 divided 10 raised to 3 equal to 10 raised to 7, valued only in the indexes. Planck arrives to it through a difficult way. He takes the square root of the electric charge and divides it by the product of h bar multiplied by c, the light speed. If we introduce the correct quantities of the Amodea Physics, we have 16 squared divided 11 multiplied by 3 and equal to 7 with 25 of residual that the Amodea Physics consider as the waiter who is bringing the food in the restaurant and who cannot be eaten in a cannibalistic way that is possible. In fact, the 25 residual is the unitary time 1/4 of the absolute 100 of Amodeo. In 16 squared equal to 256 charges, its decimal is the one energy in rest that is not in motion in the 10th cycle, in which only the other 9 quantities exist as the food carried by this one waiter. If we, since math allows it, makes 256 divided 33 equal 7.757575, we, in the decimal quantities, are eating the poor waiter, and 75 divided 100 is the full 3/4 of space-time that are perfectly referred to the 100 absolute quantities of Amodeo. The constant of gases. Its derivation formula is 10 multiplied by 10 minus 16 plus 1 and equal to 83. The absolute quantity of Amodeo in absolute is 10 raised to 10 raised to 10, equal to 10 raised to 100. When it is divided by 10 raised to 17, gets 10 raised to 83, whose only index is 83. The index 17 is the charge 16 of the unitary reality plus its unit. In fact, 10 raised to 16 multiplied 10 equal to 10 raised to 17 represents the charge in all its 10 unitary cycle. The result is that the absolute 100 of Amodeo, when is considered in all the absolute quantities 16 plus 1 of the charge, shows 83 as the times of the unitary existence of the charge. If we must size it in relation to the SAE units, since the absolute quantity of Amodeo is represented squared, we must have 10 raised to 2 units. Therefore, 83 multiplied 10 raised to 2 joule every mole every Kelvin. The molar constant of the perfect gases. Its derivation formula is 2 multiplied 10 plus 1 and equal to 22. The perfect gas contains only the times contradiction from minus 1 to plus 1. In every of the 2 directions, 10 raised to 10 multiplied 10 and equal to 10 raised to 11 is the space-time 10 plus 1. To can refer correctly to the C units, we must consider that the unit of the mass is made by 10 raised to minus 3 meters squared every mole. Therefore, 22 multiplied by 10 raised to minus 3 meters squared every mole. The constant of Boltzmann. Its derivation formula is 10 raised to 4 minus 2 raised to 6 divided 9 multiplied by 8 and equal exactly to 138. 10 raised to 4 is the absolute reality of the space-time. The subtraction of 2 raised to 6 equal to 64, considering in absolute 10 raised to 10,000 divided 10 raised to 64 equal to 10 raised to 9,933, it is all the motion of 2 raised to 6 in the total. When we divide these 9,936 motion by 72, we get exactly 138, and is the unitary motion of every unit of the 72. We must understand what is 72 as the product between 9, all the invariant quantity of the 10 cycle, and 2 raised to 3 equal 8, all the volume of the complex reality. Therefore, 72 is all the complex volume as it is carried by a weather bringing all the possible energy. Therefore, 138 is the quantity that belongs to every unit of the complex volume in all its real flow and referred to the absolute reality 10 raised to 4. If we have to refer this unit to those of the sea, we must consider all the unitary presence 1/4 of the absolute 100 of Amodeo. Therefore, 25 in the power 10 raised to 25 referred to its unit 10 raised to minus 25. They must be the joule for each Kelvin. Therefore, 138 multiplied 10 raised to minus 25 joule every Kelvin. The c speed of electromagnetism. Its derivation formula is 10 minus 7 equal 3. 10 raised to 10 divided by 10 raised to 7 is 10 raised to 3, considered only in the exponents as the 3 dimensions of the space, existing in the time of 1 alone, 3 on 1. In fact, since the unit of the space is the volume, to have its perfect side in line, we must raise it to 1/3. In the same way, one side is 1/3 of x, y, z as 3 components. To refer perfectly these to 1 meter, that is equal to 4 multiplied 10 raised to minus 7 of the meridian of the Earth, and to the 10 cycle of it, it is only 3 multiplied by 10 raised to 8 meters every second. The Physics constant of Einstein. Its derivation formula is 10 minus 1 equal 9. The invariant energy can be only the invariant number 9 of the C decimal system of all its units. Being the motion plus 3, the reaction to the action minus 3, both the entities action magnetic and reaction electric have the speed 3 multiplied 10 raised to 8 meters every second. Therefore, the squared is 3 multiplied 10 raised to 8 meters every second, and is the interaction of the two opposites at equal speeds, the magnetic and the electric. The electron mass in kilogram. Its derivation formula is 10 minus 1 equal 9. The formula of the electron is the same of the electromagnetism. To can refer to the kilogram of the C, we must consider the dimension of 10 raised to minus 31 kilograms, in which 10 raised to 30 angstrom is 1 meters cubed, and considered in the one time of the cycle becomes 10 raised to 31, whose unit is the inverse 10 raised to minus 31 kilograms. Therefore, 9.10 raised to minus 31 kilograms. The absolute zero, its derivation formula is minus 3 raised to 3 equal to minus 27. The volume of temperature is volume of electromagnetism, and 3 raised to 3 equal 27 is it all. It must be referred to the cycle of 10 degrees centigrade. Therefore, minus 27 multiplied 10 degrees centigrades. The 0.315 that today is added is the front of pi Greek, which doesn't is in action in the line of the flow of the temperature, but it appears certainly being the worm only the electromagnetic volume that is acting as a 3 multiplied 3 multiplied 3 in the 3 lines of the space. And this is all.